Welcome to the January Sacramento Songwriter Showcase, brought to you by the Sacramento Songwriter Circle. It's our first showcase in a while, our first of our first of the year. We're looking forward to many more throughout this time, throughout this year. And I want to welcome everybody who's checking in on Twitch or on Facebook. To talk a little bit about the Sacramento Songwriter Circle. Our mission is we are an inclusive and encouraging community of diverse songwriters supporting each other to improve our craft, produce, promote, and share each other's art. This year, after taking over the mantle from the great Heather Evans, who carried this mantle for a couple of years and founded the Songwriter Circle, we've brought on a good team of co-coordinators that includes myself, Jaden Luan, Don Rico DeCastro, Chloe Price, Rainer Rose, and myself, DJ Stipe. And tonight our co-host is Rainer Rose. How you doing, Rainer? Gonna ask you to unmute.
Oh man, I
get it out of the way early.
Yeah, right. I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm excited. We've been working hard. I'm looking forward to sharing the great music with everybody and the stories and the process behind it. Do you want to introduce our artists?
Yeah, so tonight, for the first time in a long time, we're gonna have our Songwriters Circle artists, Alec Ogston, Kendra Dantes, and Richard Durazo coming right up to the mic. So we do have pre-recorded songs for you tonight because it's a different setup than when we would do it live, but really excited to have them play. But yeah, speaking of being different than in person, DJ, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. If we were in person, we'd be, charging a $5 door fee. So we're opening the doors for free here. But we do have a Venmo set up for SAC Songwriter Circle, and we are suggesting a $5 donation to take care of that door fee. But give whatever you can. We're going to divide that money amongst all of our artists afterwards. So really important to give to local artists right now, because just like everybody, and even more so than a lot of sectors, the working musicians are definitely taking a hit right now with no venues out there. So whatever you can do to help support them would be greatly appreciated. And then besides financial, we all need a little bit of love and some support. So if you'd like to chime in with some comments and feedback for our songwriters and their songs, just throw the artist name that you're addressing, and we'll make sure that the right person gets it after the show. So
we are collecting all of the chats and such so that artists can see it after the stream. So if you wanted to do something kind of like how we used to have those suggestion feedback cards, you shout out a couple little notes for your artists, we would love to see it and get it to them after the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rainer. So we're going to go ahead and start with some music, with getting to know our artists a little bit. First up, we've got Alec Ogston. And Alec has been involved in the Songwriter Circle for, I think, as long as I've known him. And I'm looking forward to hearing some music. How are you doing tonight, Alec?
Doing well. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So the obvious question for you is, you often use animal metaphors and references in your work. Have you always been drawn to animals? And do you remember the first animal that you ever wrote into a song?
Yes. The first animal I ever wrote into a song was a song that I wrote, I think I was probably about 9 years old. And it was about my stuffed animals. So 2 bears, a raccoon, and a fish. The next song I wrote after that was about an animal was the Tyrannosaur song.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, how old were you when you wrote that one?
think I was about 17 or 18 when I wrote that song. So that song's been around for a while.
And do you still have the first song that you wrote when you're 9? Do you still know that?
No, it was a pretty long song. I don't remember most of the words. Somewhere there may be a spiral bound notebook with the words in it.
Okay, yeah, I don't know that I'd want to see my songs from 9 years old, but I was a little bit older, when I started. But okay, so I am excited to actually. Do you have a favorite animal, like non-song related? But do you have a favorite animal?
Yeah, probably the Tyrannosaur has always been my favorite animal. So
Okay.
that's why I wrote a song about one.
That's a legit choice. They're cool for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So the first song that we're gonna play from you is Tiny Elephant. Speaking of animals,
Another animal.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop off video and get ready to share that. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about that song and give us an introduction.
Yeah. So this song is called Tiny Elephant. It's actually written about a very small elephant. It was a drawing of an elephant that I made for a video that I made for a different song. So this song is kind of inspired by a previous song, but it's called Tiny Elephant. I hope you like it.
Tiny elephant always cheers me up when I feel down. Tiny elephant says, how can you be blue when I'm around? Tiny elephant goes where I go. Tiny elephant follows me. Tiny elephant always knows what I need. Tiny elephant always knows a place where we can hide. Tiny elephant's always small enough to fit inside. Tiny elephants just like me, but tiny elephants just a little stronger. Tiny elephant I can see won't be around much longer, 'cause tiny elephant grows smaller every day. Tiny elephant says, soon I'll go away, 'cause you don't need me like you did when I was big. Tiny elephant grew so small, one night he disappeared. I woke up to find that he had gone, as I had feared he would. Tiny elephant goes where I go. Tiny elephant follows me. Tiny elephant knows what I need.
Excellent. So that was Tiny Elephant. Sorry for the little restart there. Still getting everything
Hear the
worked
beginning
out
again.
here.
I
But-
always love that one.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rainer. You want to go ahead and take the next introduction?
Yeah, so we've got Kendra Dantes up next. I just wanted to add a note that Tiny Elephant always hits me hard. Alec was actually my first guitar instructor, technically. So we used to sing that one together when I was like small singer.
Yeah, I remember when you were very tiny indeed.
Yeah.
You played that on the
Yeah.
ukulele, and I played along with guitar. That was fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait till we can have these in person again. But speaking of Tiny, I wanted to say, Kendra, so you won Sacramento's Got Talent this year, and you're one of the youngest people to do that, I think. But
Thank you.
yeah,
It-
that's just gnarly. Like, I didn't even know they were doing it in pandemic. Like, how did that experience go for you? What was the process like? did it feel good to get the validation of winning it like a second time? That's amazing. So
I honestly couldn't even believe it. Like, I was watching the live stream because similarly to tonight, all of the songs were pre-recorded. And I was able to go in person to record the song. I was the only performer who was there at the time. And but then I was watching the stream with everybody else. And so I was very nervous, but also I was like, you know what, even if I don't win, it's still gonna be really fun.
yeah.
And I was like blown away by like everyone's performances, and I was like, there's no way I could win. That's crazy. And I couldn't even believe it. I was
You're
sitting
so
with my
humble.
mom, and we like grabbed each other's hands. We were like, oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I love
I
that.
didn't believe it.
That's such a nice image. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's because you keep on releasing all these amazing songs. You've got 3 songs from a book series that you're writing, right?
Thank
And
you.
they're 3 out of 6, or how many are coming out?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I am planning to release an EP of 5 songs based off of this book series. And the 3 I have written so far for this EP have been based off of the book series called Six of Crows. And then the other 2 will be a part of the larger book series that kind of is in like the same bookish world. I don't know, I sound like a nerd because I am one.
No, I want to do like the same thing. It's so cool to have I mean something that's not necessarily personal to you in the same way as like writing from your life experience or something. You're writing from book experiences that meant a lot to you, and I've been really enjoying your work here. So one of the songs that we're going to play is You Stay. I believe is that yeah, that's the first one we're doing. But that one's
I
not
think
from the book series, right?
Sorry, the first one is Crying Fire.
Okay, yeah, I see. You Stay is an Alec Ogston one. Yeah, we
no
just got
worries.
that mixed up a little there. So Crying Fire is from the book series. Yeah. So we're gonna be playing that one for you first today. Is there any note that you wanted to say about that one before we
Yeah,
start?
so Crying Fire is about a different series than the one that I'm basing my EP songs on. It's called Lifelike by Jay Kristoff, and it's another one of my favorites. And I actually ended up writing the song twice. So I was in a songwriting class and I wrote this song originally. And for some reason, it just wasn't hitting home for me. So I ended up like months later rewriting the entire thing. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's an improvement. But yeah, I
Oh,
loved writing this song, and I hope everyone enjoys.
yeah, well, let's hit it off.
There is darkness in your head. You've carried it for so long. I remember I tried to fix it. I can't fix it anymore. We crashed to burn like crying fire. You let go, I held on tighter. Up to the sun, you pulled me higher. We crashed to burn like crying fire. Crying fire, fire. Crying fire, fire. There is sadness in my eyes that I try to hide, but it shows. I remember when I was crying. I was crying.
Kendra, that is such a lovely song, kind of captivating.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing it with us. I think it's amazing how much
That's so-
emotions that you pull out of your songwriting when you base it a lot on stuff that you've read. I think that's great.
Thank you. I had so much fun writing it, and it's so cool to get to share it tonight. So thank you.
Your
Absolutely.
high
Thank
notes,
you.
though. Just wanted to add that in there every time. Yeah.
I was talking over you, Rainer. Can you repeat that?
Oh, the high notes whenever Kendra goes into those like crying fire, that last fa. Oh my gosh, I can't even
Thank
attempt,
you.
man. That's so pretty.
I've been working on that a lot because I used to really struggle to like go very high. So that's definitely exciting for me to get to do that now.
Yeah, that range, man. You got a huge one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
So next up after Kendra, we've got Richard's song,
Yep.
Hall of Harmony. If you'd
No,
like
it's
to take
half of
that away,
harmony.
DJ.
Half of
Oh,
harmony.
half.
Sorry about that. To go ahead and fess up, so Rainer doesn't take the heat here. I made a little mistake with my listing of songs, so getting that all worked out. But yeah, before that, I've gotten to know you quite a bit the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, Richard. And I've watched, especially this year, you've become very prolific on YouTube, and you've got a very diverse batch of content that's educational sometimes, inspirational sometimes, even historical. Just curious how you come up with those ideas and what's your process when you decide that you're going to record a video.
So that's a great question. I've been trying to keep myself quiet for quite some time. So real quick, everybody, I loved everything. My creative process, I suppose, is I pretty much have it for a schedule at first. And then whenever I get a new idea that I think is just a really, really great idea, I'll try it. And if it fails horribly, I won't do it again. It's a lot of trial and error. So for example, I find people really like acoustic blues. I try to do a song a week about it. Or I find people really like to see me try to take things apart. Okay, let's do it. Or suddenly I'll get an idea like, you know what? I feel like not enough people know about Merle Travis. And then I'll try to do a video on it. And that's the whole process.
That's what I mean. That, you know, everything's you've got a lot of stuff that educates me on music, and I learn about artists that I, you know, haven't known so well. But then you've also got the series of Bible songs, which I can, you know, obviously touches on, you know, a big part of our history. And then to see some of those songs that you picked that I've known but haven't necessarily known their, you know, where they were inspired from. I think all of that stuff's great, and I look forward to your videos when they come out. And then, yeah, our first song from you is Half of Harmony. Do you want to tell us about that song a little bit and give us an intro?
Sure, I'd love to. So a lot of the time when I write songs, I have a couple goals in mind. I want to be conversational, I want to tell a story, and I want to have a little bit of humor in it. This song is about my first divorce, and I figured that's a great thing to throw a little bit of humor into. I should rephrase that. This song is about my only divorce, you know. So obviously it's a very high emotional state, and I was just like, what do I want to say here? How do I feel? And I've tried to work that into a song. And here we go. You know, the first time that you told me that you didn't really care, a chill rose up my spine. I went into the air, and I felt such a worry from my heel to my brain. I felt like a monkey was sitting upon a reins. You know I wouldn't worry if I had no memory. I feel swell, I'm doing well, that's what they tell me. So let's get back to showing how great things can be. Oh, my little missus, half of harmony. Oh, do-do, la-da-do, skidoo-da-da-da-da-da-do. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-do, la-da-da-da-do. Oh, rap, di-da-da-ba-ba-ba, la-da-da-da-do. La-da-da-da-do, la-da-da-da-do. No, I wouldn't worry if I had no memory. I feel swell, I'm doing well, that's what they tell me. So let's get back to showing how great things can be. Oh, my little missus, half of harmony. Now I have to say this part. They say all sins can be forgiven, and all wounds will heal with glue. But one thing's for certain, I don't think I trust you. So we sit back and we wonder just what's inside of this stew. Love and happiness are all just other things to do. You know I wouldn't worry if I had no memory. I feel swell, I'm doing well, that's what they tell me. So let's get back to showing how great things can be. Oh, my little missus, half of harmony. Oh, my little missus, half of harmony.
Excellent. I love your falsetto in there. I mean, it's in all of your songs, but I love it in there, and I love you scat in the middle. Especially when you introduce it and you give us, where it came from. Your ability to sort of spin that on its head and make it fun and boppable. I think I'd heard it a couple times before I heard the story behind it and where it came from. And I don't, I wouldn't have known where it came from. Such a place of pain, but I love that. Rainer, did you have something you want to add there?
Someone on Twitch said that they love the chorus, and of course I always love Richard's spoken word and also scatting. Still want to do some sort of Bob Marley set with Richard someday, because the dude got the pipes, man. But yeah, I really liked it. I am gonna move on though to Alec Ogston's next song. Alec, I've got a question directly for you. So is music a big part of how you've been coping with pandemic? Because I know for me, you read a couple of pandemic songs, but how has this year impacted your songwriting experience? Like, have most of your songs been about pandemic, or have you been on the lax with it, or how have you
Well,
been?
I have been writing a lot during the lockdown. I haven't written directly about pandemic, but I think just the general mood of 2020 impacted my songwriting a lot. More in that it's just been kind of crazy. Just not, when you have when you're sort of adrift with none of your usual routine, it kind of just messes with your with your process. So in some ways that's been good. It's sort of just shaking up the creative process. But yeah, no, I prefer not being locked down, but I guess there are some very minor upsides to it.
Got the bunny song, but the bunny's got to stay underground for a couple months.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's
that's
the
yeah. I
case.
never thought of that. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I've just seen you post a couple things on Instagram and such of like your old songs and your older stuff, or like some covers that you do, or all that fun jazz. And I know that it's hard to stay on top of it during pandemic, but what are some things that you do in your writing to kind of get into it in the state of things that we're in right now? How do you keep practicing and keep playing?
Mostly I just play every day. I just play my guitar every day, and I never sit down to try to write a song. I just wait until one's ready to come out. But that's just a matter of, always being prepared to drop everything as soon as you feel inspired and just go for it.
Sticking with your guitar.
Yep.
You could even say that you stay with your guitar. So Alec Ogston's next song that we're going to be playing today is You Stay. And did you want to do a quick note about this one before we started off? What was it written about?
So this is another animal song, although you wouldn't know it from listening to the words. And the reason for that is it didn't start off as an animal song. I think I had probably about 95% done before I realized that it's about two ants. If you've ever seen the show Planet Earth with David Attenborough, there's this very, very sad segment about ants where they get infected by this fungus called cordyceps. And it affects their brain. So an ant that's infected with cordyceps feels compelled to wander out of the nest and climb up to the top of a plant and then clamp his jaws onto the highest leaf, where he dies, and then the fungus bursts out of his head. It's a very sad thing to happen to an ant. So this song is about two ants, one of whom has just discovered that he's been infected with this fungus that's going to turn him into a zombie ant.
Sad ant heartbreak song.
Yeah, two ants say goodbye to each other. So that's what the song is about. It's called You Stay.
Alien entity has entered me. There's monsters inside of my head. Help in my head. In my head. I'm thinking of lying in bed. With you. You stay home, I'll go out on my own. You stay home, I'll grow old. You stay young. You stay here, I'll go on alone. You stay home, I'll grow old. You stay young. So long, so many times round the sun. So long, so much time to go. Time to go where I don't know. You stay home, I'll go out on my own. You stay home, I'll grow old. You stay young. You stay here, I'll go on alone. You stay home, I'll grow old. You stay young.
Excellent. That's You Stay. Alec, every time I hear it, I'm just, the imagery from the way that you introduce it carries throughout that song for me. And I just love the dark picture that it paints with such a, what's the word? I don't know, light. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it's got such a light feel to it sonically. And it's got this heavy topic. Just love it.
Yeah, that sometimes happens when you write a song. Is you start off one way and then you hear it back and like, oh yeah, that's actually not a little bit more melancholy than I've been going for.
They do tend to take on their own personalities sometimes, don't they?
Right.
Well, excellent. Thank you. We're going to keep going with Kendra. We've got a couple more questions for you, and then we'll get into your second song. One of the first thing, and Raynard kind of touched on this before, but one of the first thing I remember you saying about your music, which I think was over 2 years ago now, is that you made up for, at that time, a limited life experience by writing about the books that you read. And I know you read a lot of books, but
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about that process of writing from a book and then share any experience that you might have? I believe I've heard some about you doing some licensing with music for books, and wondering if you can just talk about that.
Yeah, of course. So for me, writing a song about a book is so interesting because, and so much fun because, like especially with the Six of Crows series, which this next song is inspired by, because the protagonist of those books is very complex, and he looks at the world in a very different way than I do. And I think that it's so interesting to write about characters, especially characters like him, because it's like I get to understand like the way different people's minds work. Like I realize they're book characters, they're fictional, but I think that it helps me to understand people if I can write about like even just fictional people, like if I can write from somebody else's shoes, like it's like trying on different hats, and it's very fun for me. And I think it's so cool that I get to express like how I'm feeling about a book or whatever in a song. Like it helps me like express my emotions too. So I have a lot of fun with it. And I have recently gotten into sync licensing, which is so cool. Because it's like a whole new world of music that like I hadn't even known existed until like a year or two ago, I think. And so I have been pitching my music to music supervisors in the hopes that I can get some music on TV, which is like a huge dream of mine. And I'm finally getting some of my songs produced, and Never Forgot is one of the songs that I have gotten produced. And it was my debut single. So I'm very excited about this one.
And the end result is wonderful on that song for sure. Have you ever done any prose writing, any fiction type writing yourself?
You mean like from briefs?
Like stories, or any a lot of people have the novel sitting in the back of their head or whatever. Have you ever tried any fiction writing yourself? Yeah.
Yes, I have done my best. I am definitely a beginner. But I do have a lot of fun with writing my own stories. But a lot of the times I have a bad habit of stopping a story like midway through and then jumping to another idea instead of like just finishing one. So one of my goals is to, yes, finish a fiction story. I think that would be very cool.
Well, I will be in line to get one of the first copies signed for sure. It would be
Well, thank you.
it would be really cool to hear the songs that came out of your own stories too. So is there anything
that
else?
would be really fun.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe they can inform each other in the process. That would be interesting. Maybe at a future Songwriter Circle showcase, we'll be able to have you back and hear about that process. Is there anything else?
That'd be awesome.
Yes. Is there anything else, sorry, that you would like to say about Never Forgot before we play it?
I don't think so. I had a lot of fun writing the song. Oh, yes, one thing. It's definitely one of my darker songs, so it's not like about like evil or anything, but like I talk about heartbreak a lot and just kind of being lost, and that's definitely one of the topics of this song because that was part of the book. And so this song was even more interesting for me to write, and weirdly even more like almost like fun for me because it was so out of what I know, out of my element at the time. And now I've written several songs like this, but it was interesting getting to write something different like that.
All right, looking forward to it. Here's Never Forgot.
I am made of dark things ravaging, such a savage in the way of joy. I am made of lightning striking the middle of the life that I destroyed. I am made of whispers, kiss her before I feel my lips burn, I snap. I am made of nightmares, I didn't care before you took her right there and I cracked. The monster is crawling from the dark and my heart is gone now. Obsession, aggression, prepare me for confession and watch me drown. Skin on my skin, my mind's wearing thin and I can't stop. Breathe, I can't breathe and my soul's gonna scream for all life. 'Cause I stole and I never forgot. 'Cause I stole and I never forgot. You are made of kind things, defying the gravity, so you will never fall. You are made of heartbeats, heartstrings, the story that's exciting you are. The monster is crawling from the dark and my heart is gone now. Obsession, aggression, prepare me for confession and watch me drown. Skin on my skin, my mind's wearing thin and I can't stop. Breathe, I can't breathe and my soul's gonna scream for all I fight. 'Cause I stole and I never forgot. 'Cause I stole and I never forgot. 'Cause I stole and I never forgot. Monster, monster, everyone's a monster to me. Lost her, wonder if I should have set her free. forfeiting. Such a savage in the way of joy.
That was
So-
awesome.
Yeah, just beautiful, great emotion.
Thank you. I love performing that one because it's like very gritty and I can like really get into it. So I definitely have a lot of fun.
I love the differences between your recorded version and your live versions that you have. Like the live version it's just got those little differences that make it, I don't know, it's a different experience when you see you singing it directly, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing, Kendra. All
Thank
right,
you so
well,
much.
Richard's next up on the chopping block. Richard, so you have a couple of side projects. My mom's in the laundry. I don't know if you heard that. But
Did not.
can you tell us about your side projects and how you approach songwriting, like in a group versus on your own? Because obviously it's a lot solo nowadays. I know you've had a couple live performances, kind of distant style, and had some people playing with you, but writing and having those same projects aren't happening as much these days, unfortunately. So would you share some of that experience?
Sure. Well, a lot of the time it depends on the goal of whatever the group is. Whenever I'm doing music by myself or whenever I'm doing something under my own name, it's pretty much all me writing everything and then telling other people how to play it. When I'm playing in a band setting, it's either a contribution writing, like we talk about an idea and we go from there, or I will learn somebody else's songs that they want to offer up to the band, essentially. At the moment, there are not too many actual band things I'm going to, so it's mostly me by myself trying to figure out what I want to say nowadays. But ultimately, in whatever environment you're in, you have to make sure you establish what everybody's doing if you want it to be successful.
That's awesome, yeah. Sorry, my little sister is yelling at me from the other room, but I mean, we can't be with everyone right now, but we can be with our family. So,
great.
yeah, I know that the difference for me between writing in a band scenario and writing in a solo scenario, you've got the ideas from other people, and then when you're on your own, you just kind of got to rely on your own musical ability and constructing all those songs. But thankfully, I think you do it really well. You got the really funky guitar, and that works out solo and in a band. So best of both worlds. But
It's nothing more
speaking
important than
of,
rhythm, just in
yeah.
general. If you got rhythm, you got
Speaking
it
of
all.
that guitar, though, Honey Dear, you want to add anything to that one? Because that is your next upcoming song. Very joyful title.
Sure. I'll talk about this as quickly as I can. I absolutely love this song. I wrote this song for my grandma. She pretty much raised me. I got to play it for her birthday. That was my birthday gift on a year when I didn't want to buy anything. I wrote her a song and she loved it, and I was so happy. Basically, around that time, years and years ago, I was actually playing a lot of kids' music. I'd go to my youngest son's daycare once a week and I'd play kids' songs. So I approached it kind of in the way of a kid's song, and that's why I have some fun little side instruments going on in that.
La da 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 la da do, la da 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 la da do, da 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 la da do. Once upon a time when I first learned how to crawl, there were some around, but I saw you most of all. I don't know what I would do if you weren't by my side. You mean so much to me, and I just ain't no lie. So very, very much to me, and I just ain't no lie. Your golden smile brightens my day, and I hope you know
If I just had things my way, I'd never have to go. Sunlight straight from your eyes, well, oh my honey dear. If you just believed in me, I'd have nothing to fear. Oh, la da 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 la da do, la da 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 la da do, la da 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 la da 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 do, la da 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 la da do, skittle la da da do la da la da do. Your golden smile brightens my day, and I hope you know, if I just had things my way, I'd never have to go. Sunlight straight from your eyes, well, oh my honey dear. If you just believed in me, I'd have nothing to fear. Well, I want to spend my time with you all day. It brings tears to my eyes when you go away. If I had one wish, you know what I would do. I'd buy 1,000,000 little fish, give them all to you. 1,000,000 little tiny fish, all just for you. Your golden smile brightens my day, and I hope you know, if I just had things my way, I'd never have to go. Sunlight straight from your eyes, well, oh my honey dear. If you just believed in me, I'd have nothing to fear. Now then.
So great. I know that the Grateful Dead are a big influence of yours, and I think that comes through really strong in that one. And the kazoo, man, the kazoo is just great. It makes me smile every time you pull that thing out.
Yeah, my favorite writers are John Prine, Bob Marley, and Robert Hunter. So, you know, they always have that kind of joyous nature to them, one way or another.
For sure. Anything to add, Rainer?
I always really like that one. I've had the pleasure of seeing Richard play that one a couple times live, and same thing happens to my face. Always big smile with the kazoo part. But yeah, Richard, I just really like your writing. It makes me feel very joyful inside and happy most of the time.
That's
Always
my goal.
makes me want to
Thank
move.
you.
Dance songs.
Excellent.
I find myself jamming in the audience to Richard's music a lot.
Oh yeah, just try to stop my head from bobbing when I listen to Richard. For sure. All right, so moving along, we've got another question here for you, Alec, and we're gonna introduce your last song too. So what artists do you take inspiration from, and how has your listening experience informed your writing? I don't know that I know that much about your musical influences, so curious.
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's probably a pretty diverse group of musicians that I take inspiration from. In listening, I always go back to Simon and Garfunkel. I think Paul Simon's writing, especially in his early days, was just so amazing that it's something that inspires me. But also in terms of artists I've listened to, Pete Seeger, The Weavers, Peter, Paul and Mary, a lot of those old folk acts, and then a lot of children's music as well. So Fred Penner, Burl Ives, Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers is a big influence on me. I think he's a really underrated songwriter. So yeah.
That is a really diverse set of influences for sure. So this next song, Dragon Kite, I believe it's a newer one of yours, right? And I think that you started working it up in one of our workshops. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, that's exactly the one. It's one that I've just been had written over the last few months, and it's kind of emblematic of what I've been up to during lockdown, where I've just been kind of putting together words just based on the sound of the words rather than the meaning in terms of the way I come up with lyrics. This song, it's about a dragon kite, but for the longest time I did not know what it was about. I didn't think it was going to be about a dragon kite. And I think the first time I played it for you guys, I had 3 verses. I hadn't written the bridge. I had some vague idea that was maybe about a dog, maybe about a snake. But yeah, when I wrote the bridge, the dragon kite, yeah, it's about a kite. So it's not exactly about an animal, but it's about a thing that looks like an animal.
That's really cool. I remember when it was at that point in the workshop, and yeah, you weren't sure where it was going, and then I totally didn't expect where you took it. Just I love witnessing that part of the writing process for sure. All right.
Yeah,
so,
I really like writing like that. I did that a lot with You Stay. When I only had maybe half of it done, I played it at the Fig Tree, just like here's what I have so far, and it was about 45 minutes or for 45 seconds worth of song. But I like doing that, like just working on a song slowly and not forcing it, just kind of going with what I have so far and just waiting until the rest of it is ready to come out.
definitely works. I love your end product. So we're gonna go ahead and play Dragon Kite now.
Take a high-minded approach to these yards at the end of the road, where land stretches out and away, when light fades at end of day. Take a high-falutin stance to how you place your feet when you dance, to how you hold your ears when you fight, to how wide you open your mouth when you bite. Double wings, that kind of thing. A castle upon a night, a king dragon kite flies all right. Damage to strings, that kind of thing. Take a high climb to the top. Feel generous now, venomous now. Stop. Take a bite before
Yeah,
I
really
love what
it.
you added. Oh my gosh. Dragon kite.
Yeah.
That was awesome, man.
Yeah,
Thank
such
you.
great imagery and such
Yeah.
great rhythm with the word choices there.
Yeah, that's what I was also going to add. The way that the forceful like dragon kite lyric was introduced. Because you said the bridge defined it, so I was kind of like looking for that during the bridge. And when I
Right.
heard the night rhyme, I was like, okay, it's coming. And you hear the dragon kite and it's just flying through the night. It's just really impactful actually. Um yeah, I really enjoy that imagery.
Thanks.
But up next we do have Kendra Dantes, and this is going to be your last song for this Songwriters Circle. So I want to
Yeah.
thank everyone again for attending this and showing us, 3 pieces handpicked. So my next question for you is, speaking of, you've been involved in this Songwriter Circle since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Or pretty much. We've watched you grow musically more. And how do you think your writing style has changed over this time? Because we've gotten to watch you grow and change, but in your personal opinion, what was the person who was introduced to the Songwriter Circle at such a young age thinking, and what are you thinking now?
Well, I think when I first got to be a part of the Sac Songwriter Circle, I was a lot less um, sure of myself in music. I think I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I had just started to play guitar and I knew some ukulele and piano, but I definitely felt like a beginner in every aspect. I just started songwriting like a year before, and a lot of my songs were like getting thrown out because I didn't think they were good enough. And I think that since I've joined, I've probably grown the most as a songwriter because I've gotten to read a lot more books and I've gotten to experiment with different genres. And getting to be a part of the community just has really boosted my confidence a lot because, I mean, you guys are just incredible. And getting to share music with like people who really care and are like, here's what I loved about it, here's what you can do better. Like, it has helped me grow a lot as an artist. So I'm very grateful to be a part of the Sac Songwriter Circle.
We're really
You guys are
grateful
just
to have
amazing.
you.
It's an honor.
I wish that we could do the same feedback card thing that we used to do, where you get like personal, direct feedback from people. But just to remind the audience, any feedback that you want to give artists, you can always DM Sacramento Songwriter Circle or something like that. But Kendra, yeah, I've seen that you've been getting your music out there finally and stuff like that. I'm sure less of your songs are trashed nowadays than you would have in the past.
I still trash some, but definitely less. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of would be interested one day if you're ever open to doing a songwriter circle of some of your early work, and maybe do like a redo of, first songwriters circle for some people, a little reunion. But
I
yeah,
would, yeah, I would definitely have to brush up on some of that stuff.
right.
And I might rework some of it too, but that sounds really cool.
So this next song that you're going to play for us today is called The Archetype. Now I'm guessing this
Yeah.
one's one of your newer ones, or
Yeah, I wrote it a
do you want
couple
to tell
weeks
us
ago.
a little
Yeah.
bit about it?
Sure, thank you.
Awesome.
So I, as you all probably have gathered, I read a lot of books. And so because I've read so many books, I've seen a common theme in a lot of the books that I've read, in that romance often plays an integral part in the storyline, at least in the books that I read. And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, the characters end up living happily ever after. And I mean that like they end up together, like maybe you don't know what the future holds, but I as a reader, I have a lot of hope at the end that things are going to work out. So I've discovered that there's kind of an archetype for a lot of the books that I read, whether they're in the romance genre or not. And so I wanted to kind of reverse that approach and write about real life archetypes with what I have witnessed in my own life, not in my own relationships. I've never been in a relationship, but with my loved ones, and seeing that love sometimes doesn't work out happily ever after, and that it falls apart and it breaks. And so because people sometimes are in relationships and there's all these red flags that are popping up, and they just let them kind of fly loose on the wind, and they're like, you know, let's not worry about it, it'll be fine. And it is sometimes, but a lot of the times it's not. So I think that's the depressing inspiration for where I
So you
got this
take
song.
kind of more like a realistic approach to love.
Yeah, that was the
That's
idea
really
behind the
nice.
song for sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Thank you.
I think maybe I was crazy, or maybe I'm naive to have given you a heart when I was lonely in the dark. Said you would help me. I think maybe I'm a fool. I think maybe you knew that there would be the fall, and I'd remember it all. So won't you tell me we're the archetype? We stayed up all night. It was only one day. We had so much time, and I felt so alive. There was nothing left to find. We're the archetype, archetype, archetype. We're the archetype. 'Cause we had wings and thought that we could fly. I think maybe we're lonely, and I had been alone. We were lost souls, not getting old anytime lately. It was like a hurricane, 'cause every time I let you in, you were so complicated. I got so intoxicated on you again. We're the archetype. We love and then we die. We live just to survive. Before we lost our minds and darkness took the light, there were no stars in the sky. We're the archetype, archetype, archetype. We're the archetype. 'Cause we had wings and thought that we could fly. I think maybe we were reckless and you were wondering. It was then I took you in, and now I've nothing left to give. So God help me. We're the archetype. Time has passed us by. We lived so we could fight. You already tried and I already cried. There were no stars to defy. We're the archetype, and there was so much life. We lived so we took flight. But you already tried and I already cried. There are no stars to define. We're the archetype, archetype, archetype. We're the archetype. 'Cause we had wings and thought that we could fly.
So good. that knowing you as a songwriter, that feels like kind of a pinnacle type of a song. Like it's, you know, it's a love song, but you're very much pulling from the tropes of the works that you've kind of included in your other songs. I just love
Thank
it, and I
you.
love your voice. So beautiful.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. Thank you.
That's such a gorgeous song, Kendra. With the archetypes part, I could really hear like all the different lines that had, you know, what you wanted to happen versus what actually was gonna happen, or what you didn't want to happen. Yeah, that's a very beautiful love song, and it's a very niche take on it, because not everyone writes about, you know, you can write about love as in like, oh, I'm falling in love. You can write about love as in like, I'm heartbroken. But not everyone writes about love as in like the storybook form versus reality. Very comparison take on it.
Well, thank you. I wasn't sure that song was gonna work out when I first started writing it. I was like, this might end up being a really weird concept, but I'm glad that it seems to have worked out.
It's
I'm
definitely
hoping.
relatable. As someone who read a bunch of books and needs to get back into it, I've been reading a couple, but I definitely relate to like always picturing the storybook romance in your head, and then you're like, well, I can't picture that because that's like really out there. It's not gonna
Yeah, of
happen for me, but you still kind of want it to happen somewhere.
course. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's very beautiful. I'm excited to
Thank
see
you.
how it is recorded and etc.
Thank
Next up
you.
we have Richard Durazo again. I have a question for you, Richard. So it's pretty crazy during this pandemic that creatives are having trouble producing art, and it's also pretty given that people are gonna have trouble without creating with others. But you know, what has kept you, in your personal experience, motivated this year writing all these songs and covering all these songs, and having all these cool takes on videos and concepts? And I love your content, Richard, so I was just wondering what's the face behind it? What's the motivation?
So I just want to make sure I do. All right, so this is going to get into a bit of my psychology, I suppose, but I believe we are what we do. So you can be who you want to be if you just do what that person would do. I want to be a musician. I want to be creative. So my thought process is I just need to dedicate time to creating. And things will fall out, and it's not always great. It gets better as I go. You know, like sometimes I sit on these songwriters calls just to get ideas, and then I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I like that idea. I'll do it. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll find out. But ultimately, it's just this is what I want to do. I want to create. I want to make music. I don't think there's anything better. And just knowing that that is what I want, it's just a matter of putting it into action. And from there, I just try to stumble along and see what works out.
That
I also
sounds
have a
about
schedule.
right. Yeah. It's when you have the mindset of like, oh, I've got to do this for my career. If music is what I want to do, I have to get myself out there. When the pandemic hit, it's kind of, you still got to get yourself out there however you can, even if it's just sitting on a songwriters circle chat to get ideas, and you're not one of the performers or anything like that. If you get any ideas, feel free, by the way, chat or anyone watching, to check out the songwriter link. We have a page for applying to be in the showcase. I wanted to add that in there.
Also,
But
Rainer, before we let Richard introduce this, I would like to go ahead and invite people to throw some questions. We've got some good time going. We've got a couple hundred comments in here, lots of viewers, a lot of really good feedback. And we've got time if some of you out there would like to drop some questions. We'd love to field them and run some of them by our artists. So sorry to jump in there, Rainer. Go ahead and take it.
No worries. Yeah, Richard, I was just gonna say that when you're doing the pandemic series, to get out there, including the Songwriters Circle links and all of that stuff, it's just really helped.
Looks like we're getting a bit of a lag on Rainer's feed.
Okay.
But we'll
I'm glad.
go ahead and let you, Richard, go ahead and let you introduce your final song here.
Sure. I'm glad it wasn't me. I honestly thought it was. I feel like things will go wrong, but hey, it'll be fixed. So this last song is probably one of the hardest songs I've had to write. And I say had to write because I had to write it. Honestly, I don't think I could live or continue going on. That's a little dramatic, but so this song is about two of my sisters. And recently, my youngest sister actually died in a car crash, and I didn't get to tell her a lot of the stories, or I didn't get to talk to her as much as I would have. I still have my other sister around Asia, so I figured in order to really keep my youngest sister's memory alive with me moving forward, because I think people will stay with you as long as you remember them, and I wanted to remember my younger sister as much as I can. So I asked my other sister if she would tell me a story about herself, and then I would make that story into part of this song. And my sister who's remaining was going to be, you know, the star, while my other sister who passed away would be the angel. And that's why this song is called The Star and the Angel. She was a natural born athlete, like a mother before. So it was a tragedy when she fell to the floor. She broke both her legs, but the clouds left the sky as she got some brand new ones that let her just about fly. So you'll be a star, and she'll be an angel. You're gonna go far at the light of her halo. Now the thing about magic legs, as you probably would guess, there's a lot of ideas you'd like to put to the test. I'll run from the cops at the dunes of the beach, while a sister sits and smiles, waiting just out of reach. So you'll be a star, and she'll be an angel. You're gonna go far at the light of her halo. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. Oh, she was a gift to us all, like a saint from on high. So it was a tragedy the night that she died. Her spirit, her joy, is not something you can teach. So now she sits there watching
just out of reach. So you'll be a star, and she'll be an angel, going to go far as the light of her halo.
Man, excuse me, man, that is what music's about right there. Taking some very tragic, difficult situations from your life, and turning it into a beautiful piece of art. And I don't know that you were overstating it when you say that you couldn't live with yourself if you didn't write that song. I think those are the times when art really takes off for us, and the fact that you captured that in such a beautiful way is admirable.
Yeah, thank you. You know, even listening to that, I could feel myself tear up a little. It's I'm also of the belief, my whole musical presence and mentality is that if you can feel it, they can feel it. So I always try to play what I feel and feel what I play and do what I do. Zen.
I always get that from your performances, and really all of our artists tonight. I feel the feeling coming through everything that you all do, and I admire your art. I admire everything that you've been putting out, and your ability to keep trucking through a difficult time when a lot of us out here are struggling with our art. So really been a pleasure to watch you guys tonight. I don't know what sort of questions might have popped in, but we do have some announcements to get to first. So first is our February showcase, which is coming up February 17th. And we've got a little bit of a love theme going, if you can't tell. It's Jacqueline Lovey, James Love, and Sam Kaler. And we are going to be bringing them to you virtually for February. We're hoping that maybe by March we can get out there and do something in person. But right now, just for planning purposes, we're going to be doing it virtual in February. So if you got any feedback on how we can improve this, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us on all the social medias, Sac Songwriter Circle or Sacramento Songwriter Circle at gmail.com. And in our social bios, you can also find links to submit your work and yourself for future showcases. We'll be doing, one every month for the year. And we'll also keep you in mind for any shows that we're able to start booking once venues start opening up and stuff. So be sure to check out our bios and go in there. You'll be able to open up a form that allows you to submit your music for us, and we'd love to hear from you. Some other exciting things that are coming up. We've soft launched, I guess, our TikTok channel, and Don Rico de Castro is helping us manage that. We're going to get some content going there, some promotional stuff, but also some fun stuff, building on each other's songs, using the TikTok platform for those things that it really works well for. And then starting this Tuesday at 7 p.m., we're going to be doing weekly songwriter workshops. So for those of you out there who are looking to get into a workshop and work with other songwriters, we have writing prompts, and we hear each other's work, offer feedback and stuff. I've heard several songs come out of it, and it always gives me a little bit of pride to be involved in that thing. So Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock, we'll be putting the information out for where to join that. It'll be on a Zoom call. And then we've been talking about our future initiatives. We'll be doing some Sac Songwriter Circle live shows. We're going to work with some venues and get some actual live events going where we hopefully we'll do some weekly shows where we can book artists and hopefully get some of our wonderful, amazing talent in this town paid for all of their efforts. We're also looking to find a home for a Sac Songwriter open mic once things open up. So place to kind of mingle, share your works in progress, get to know each other, etc. And then we're also looking at launching a Patreon so that people who want to support the circle and want to make sure that artists get paid and help with promoting artists will be able to look for an ongoing commitment with some rewards there. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share, see if we got some questions. Did you see anything, Rainer?
I didn't see too much questions. I just saw some comments, as in, like that Alec had provoking lyrics and Kendra's song had some powerful dark ones. They also loved choruses, and the first verse of I believe it was Kendra's song kind of stabbed them in the chest. Denny Shulet, if you know that person. But yeah, the chat unfortunately does not have capability for like anonymous feedback cards or anything that we used to have, which is kind of where we got like our feedback from. So hopefully, if people want to send feedback directly to artists, they can DM the artists on Instagram or even give them a follow or something like that and just share their support that way. Because I know it's kind of like when you're chatting in the chat, there's a personal aspect, and sometimes people don't want to put their comment out there or ask the question. I understand the stage fright. Sometimes people might just not have the question. For me, I kind of just wanted to ask the artists if they had a good time with this virtual showcase, because I know it's a little nerve-wracking and different experience to be on camera in your own space and sharing your work directly. Like, you have to look at yourself the whole time. That's different than an open mic. So why don't we go in order of Richard to the right.
Am I on the right?
Oh, I said Richard and then onward. I don't know if everyone has the same order. It's Richard, Kendra, and Alec for me.
Yes, that's it for me, or the order for me. Yeah, no, I absolutely enjoyed this. My biggest worry was that my small baby would come into the room while I was talking, and it almost happened a couple times, but we're good. He's a sweet baby. I'm going to hang out with him when this is over. I absolutely love this, but I spend a lot of time talking in this corner anyway, so it's pretty natural to me now. Thank you so much for having me. Everybody was extremely talented, great, professional. I love how you sound. I could go on and on and on for days, but I'm going to let other people talk. I left a nice comment.
Thank you so much, Richard. Oh, awesome. Yeah. If any artists want to follow each other and send support and stuff, we're going to be having those artist showcases. I hope to see you guys around there. I'm probably going to be trying to make it in there. But yeah, Kendra, what did you think of today? Is there anything you'd like to see changed, or did you just like the whole thing?
I love the whole thing. I think it's just so amazing to be a part of this, and I'm so grateful that I got to share music tonight and I got to listen to wonderful music too, and it's fantastic to be here. So thank you so much for having me. I think that one of my favorite parts was that because I often get stage fright when I perform, it was kind of nice that my songs were pre-recorded, and so tonight I was like, it's like the interview portion and getting to just talk about my music was really cool, and getting to hear other musician perspectives too. Alec and Richard are both absolutely incredible, and it's so cool to get to perform alongside such talent. But yeah, I love performing in person too. Obviously, I think it's amazing, and I'm excited to get back to live performances. But for right now, getting to perform virtually is a blessing. So you guys are doing an incredible job.
You got the live and you've got your recorded music videos and stuff. Now you just gotta combine the two in person and play the video behind you, right?
Right.
Looking forward to that again. Well, yeah, thank you, Kendra. We're very grateful that you shared your music with us tonight.
It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoy hearing your new versus old versus like fully recorded stuff.
Thank you. It's amazing to get to share. I feel so grateful. Thank you.
And then Alec, what did you think of your experience today?
Oh, I had a great time. It's been really fun. Been really missing doing exactly this sort of thing over the last year. It's one of the reasons I play music is to just get together with friends and share music. And yeah, I love doing this. It's why I do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thankfully, this is a way to get the music out there, and I'm really glad and grateful that I get to be hosting you guys today with DJ Stipe, because when we had showcases and stuff like that, I got to run them back in the day, and it is like kind of breaking the ice with this first stream, you know, and there's going to be some moments where my sister comes into the room or my mic is still muted or other inconsistencies happen that necessarily wouldn't happen in a real life scenario. But I'm really grateful that things went so smoothly and that we had all the pre-recordings and stuff done. Everyone sounded really good too. All of those songs. I'm hoping that I can find them on YouTube again someday when I have them stuck in my head after this. So
speaking of
you all
which,
again.
this entire show will be uploaded to YouTube. So we can go back and listen. I agree with everything that Rainer said. Alec, Kendra, Richard, I admire all of you as songwriters and as people. And I know that my life is, you know, a little bit more blessed for having met you. And I always enjoy hearing your music. So thank you for taking the time to share it with us. We'll get you the comments, the transcripts of the comments, so you can see all of the lovely feedback that you all received. And then, yeah, thank you as well, Rainer, for co-hosting with me. Really love it. Sorry I threw you a curveball in the beginning with the song order, but you know, just wanted to make sure you were awake.
I saw you stay and I was like, but so they both have a song called the same, but it was just a little mishap there. Yeah, and my Wi-Fi went out completely when I was asking Richard a question. It just dropped off. But
What was
I
the
guess that
question?
kind of my question was actually it was still the pandemic thing, just kind of how you were dealing with it and how the live stuff was going on. But I guess it kind of emphasized my point that live stuff just sometimes goes wrong and your Wi-Fi goes out completely. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to supporting you guys more in the future on all of your separate social media accounts, which you can find after this on any of the SAC Songwriters Circle posts. We'll be sharing the YouTube video, I'm sure, with all of their songwriter links. And yeah, just stay tuned for the songwriter meetings for further connection with these artists, to learn how they write, to give them ideas, and even hear feedback. Because in the meetings we have more of a back and forth. It's a bigger Zoom call, and you can hear some different artists. Also, we've still got the showcase coming up on February 17th with all of the Loves and Lovies and Sam. So we will be able to see you guys again there, hopefully, maybe in chat. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to all this live stuff that we can hopefully have again someday. But thank you guys for tagging along on this first adventure into the virtual.
Absolutely. And also thank you to Jaden, AJ, Chloe, and Don Rico for your work behind the scenes, helping get planned. The team of coordinators is really what's making this happen. So very excited. Thank you all. Thank you, Rainer. I think we make a good team.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you all out there watching on Twitch and Facebook for joining us and for actively participating. It was really good to see the energy surrounding this event, and we hope to see you February 17th.